Hello Year 9, this is Miss Sutton. I hope you're all staying well. I just want to give you some background to Lord of the Flies from my angle. I have posted some video links on YouTube that will give you more depth and more detail, but this is just a sort of summary that will hopefully give you a foothold into what's going on in the background at the start of Lord of the Flies. So I want to start with the real world situation first. So William Golding wrote Lord of the Flies in 1954, and this was 9 years after the end of World War II. During World War II, he was an officer in the Navy, and he had been present at some sort of landmark victories and events, one of those being the sinking of the Bismarck, which was an important German battleship. So he was right in the middle of things. He also was involved from his ship in bombing towns and cities. And when he saw the impact of those bombings at close hand, he was struck by the terrible things that mankind can do to each other. And that's an important thing to remember as part of his motivation for writing Lord of the Flies. Okay, so back to what was happening in the world. Japan was a powerful ally of Germany against the allied forces of America, Britain, France, and lots of other countries. So the Germans had been defeated in May of 1945. The war in Europe was over in 1945, but Japan was still operating as a powerful enemy to the Allied forces. So it was important that Japan was stopped. Now, there had been some land attacks which had devastated a few Japanese cities, but it was decided that something much more impactful was required. So 2 atomic bombs were dropped on Japan, on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And again, there are video links for these events on Show My Homework. So in reality, atomic war was a thing. It was something that the world lived under the threat of after World War II, and certainly at the time that Golding wrote Lord of the Flies. Now, if we move from reality to the background in the story, at the start of the story, the world is at war, and it is an atomic war. It's not World War II. Okay, so there is a nuclear war going on in the background. There is the need to evacuate young people, just as there was in World War II. But in our story, in Lord of the Flies, there's a group of schoolboys being evacuated from Britain to an unknown island. So they had to actually leave their country rather than just leaving towns and cities. So they are flying somewhere. It seems to be in the direction of Australia. So the island that they end up on is probably a Pacific island. So it's not named, but we know that it's uninhabited. And that has some significance for our theme of man versus nature, because the airplane that they're on is attacked as part of this war that's going on, and it crashes into the jungle on this island. So when you read the beginning and you read of a scar that's been smashed into the jungle, it's actually where the plane has crushed the trees in the jungle and left a sort of area of devastation that looks like a scar. And what's happened since the boys crash landed on the island is some of them got out of the plane, and they're all sort of scattered in different directions at the very beginning, and the plane has gone into the sea, so it's not actually there on the island itself. So if it seems a little bit confusing to you at first, that will hopefully clarify what's happened. So the boys end up on an island because their plane was attacked and it has crashed, and then the plane has rolled into the sea. So I hope that helps to sort of get your head around the very beginning of chapter 1. Okay, that's it for now. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.